guys, I hope you're having a great day. So in this video, I'm going to be using a placemat that I picked up at Dollar Tree. It has the vintage truck with flowers in the back. It looks like a watercolor painting to me and says make memories along the way. And I thought this would make some really fun wall art for spring. So that's what I'm working on in this video. Let's get started. So here's what I'm going to be using for this project, the placemat that I purchased at Dollar Tree. 2 of these Valentine's Day themed signs, also from Dollar Tree. I purchased these previously. Like I've mentioned before, I always pick up extra signs to have on hand for projects. And as you can see, I've already used the galvanized heart off of this one for another project. And so I'm going to be using 2 of those. This piece of wood that I picked up at Home Depot. And let me see if I can get it to focus on what it is. It's a piece of poplar wood and it's 24 inches long. So to start this project, I am going to cut this piece of wood in half. So I have my boards cut and sanded, so I'm just going to set those aside. And then for my signs, I'm going to remove the galvanized heart. And put that up for another project. And then I'm going to cut off the ribbon. And to get these ready, these are going to be the back of my sign, or the foundation of it. So I'm going to put those together like that. And I'm not going to paint it or anything because this is thick enough. I don't think the design is going to show through. And I am going to place it on top like that. So now I'm just going to glue it to the Valentine signs and then I'll go from there. So to attach the placemat to the Valentine's Day signs, I'm going to use some E6000 and then I'm just going to let it sit until it's dry. So the next thing I'm going to do is glue on my wood pieces as well, and they actually fit perfectly on both sides of my sign. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those in place, and then if I need to reinforce those, I can screw them onto the back or else use a staple gun or something like that. So I am going to go ahead and glue them on and I'll see how that holds up, but I'll probably reinforce it with some staples. So as you can see, I used my drill and my hot glue gun to kind of weigh down the boards as they dried, and that worked out really well. But this, I should have weighed it down as well because it has kind of popped up. So I'm going to try putting a little bit of hot glue and see if that will hold it down. And I think to dress it up just a little bit further, I'm going to add some of this rope that I had purchased at Dollar Tree along the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to attach it with some hot glue. And if you can tell in the video, to keep the ends of my rope from fraying out, I'm just adding the slightest amount of hot glue, letting it cool a little bit because I don't want to burn my fingers, and just twisting the end of the rope, and that will help it to keep from fraying, and it'll just give it a nicer look when I glue it onto my sign. But again, you want to let it cool a little bit. You don't want to burn your fingers. I don't know if you can tell very well in the video or not, but the placemat is not laying perfectly flat. You can kind of see where the glue was, where it attached, and then it's kind of bubbled up in other areas. So I would definitely do this differently. Use tacky glue instead, and then weigh it down with some books or something so that it lays perfectly flat. And I will be fixing it at the end of the video. And right now I'm going to go ahead and attach the hanger, and then I'll go from there. And I'm going to be using some jute twine and a staple gun. So I started by tying a knot at the end of the twine and then attaching it with my staple gun, and then I decided to go ahead string on some wood beads to dress it up further. So I put a piece of Scotch tape at the end of the twine so it'll make stringing on the beads a lot easier, and then I will tie another knot and attach it to the other side. And I did go ahead and reinforce the back of the sign to the wood using extra staples. I don't know if it needed it, but since I already had my staple gun out, I decided to go ahead and reinforce it while I was using it anyway. Okay, so like I mentioned, I wish I would have used a different glue on this, so now I'm going to attempt to fix it. And what I came up with, instead of making an entirely different one just like this, because I really like the way this looks, I cut a piece of poster board and to fit inside here, and then I'm going to use tacky glue, and I'm going to cut this down to size to fit on top of the poster board, and then we'll see how that turns out. So after I had my poster board in place and glued down, I put a layer of tacky glue over the entire piece of poster board and then added my placemat. And I am going to weigh it down with some heavier cookbooks until it dries. And while of course I wish I would have done this from the beginning and used tacky glue or something like that and weighed it down so that it wouldn't have that kind of bubbled effect, I'm glad I was able to fix it because I absolutely love how this sign turned out. So as you can see, that bubbly look is gone, the sign is fixed, and I just love how this sign turned out. And of course, I wish I would have used tacky glue from the beginning and weighed it down until it dried, but that's kind of how life is sometimes. Not everything goes exactly as planned. Sometimes we have to adapt and change things. And so I had actually thought about just scrapping this video, not even sharing it, but I thought, you know what, this is real life, this is what happened, and I just love this project, so I'm gonna go ahead and share it and just be real about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it's a little bit different. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.